The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, known as CISA, has recently created the Known Exploitable Vulnerabilities Catalog. This was created by a binding operational directive 2201, which requires federal agencies to comply and ensure that they're remediating known exploitable vulnerabilities within a set period of time. This information is incredibly useful not only for federal agencies, but also for enterprise organizations. Knowing what is exploitable in the wild and is being exploited today can be incredibly useful in order to prioritize and reduce risk. So let's take a quick look at how Nucleus helps your organization identify known exploitable vulnerabilities from the CISA KEV list. First, we can click down into active vulnerabilities. Here we can quickly create a filter, and we're going to add a condition, and we'll type in CISA, and here's the CISA BOD 2201 vulnerability list. We're going to make the value true, and I can simply hit search, and now it's going to provide a prioritized list of known exploitable vulnerabilities. We can get additional context in the vulnerability, and there's also additional vulnerability intelligence from CISA provided in this tab. We can see here the date it was added to the catalog, as well as the due date for remediation is here for agencies that must comply with the federal requirements, which is great. Next step is we can go and automate the process so that we can open tickets for remediation and take other actions without requiring necessarily human interaction. So what we could do here is we could create a finding processing rule, and we could add that condition of CISA, for example, and say that it is true. And if so, we can then set a due date, for instance. So maybe for anything that's known and exploitable, we set a due date of 14 days. And we could take additional actions as well beyond here. So I could set exploitability, which is a different attribute, to show that this is exploitable as well. And then I'd process this rule, implement it, and it would take place. Next, we can look at ticketing and issue tracking. So I could add a rule to create a ticket for my development teams, for instance, based on the known exploitable vulnerability information from CISA. So in this instance, I'm going to create a rule that says if it is exploitable as identified by CISA, we're going to open a ticket. So in this instance, we're going to pick Jira, but we could do ServiceNow, Zendesk, or other ways with webhooks. And then we can build criteria to say what we want the ticket to open as. So in this instance, we'll say it's a bug, who it's assigned to, teams, priorities, and all those great things so that your organization knows and is aware that this needs to be remediated, including due dates, for instance, as far as how many days out that remediation step in the ticketing system. So in summary, Nucleus's incorporation of the CISA KEV list allows an organization to quickly identify known exploitable vulnerabilities as identified by CISA. And this helps you also to ensure when you're a federal agency to make sure that you're in compliance with the CISA guidelines so you can quickly remediate based on due dates and prioritize this within your organization and automate that out to your teams for remediation who actually own the applications.